The problem is when we emphasize one of these things above all the others, right? Now, if you go to a church that maybe is overly emphasizing community, maybe they really take this soul part, right? Like making sure that you are living in community in small groups. That is a good thing, and we should do all of that. And then finally, you have the church where everyone is encouraged to serve and everything's about serving. And the way people worship in this church is with their strength. They might not talk much about theology, but they're there to bake the cookies and set up a stage and so on. The problem is when we emphasize one of these things above all the others. I think, according to this verse, the way we love God is we need to have the right thoughts about God. We need to have the right theology in our mind. And this is not just for professors and for people who write journals about theology. No, we need to study the word. We need to show ourselves approved. But that theology needs to make its way into our heart, and we need to worship God with our heart. We need to show how much we love God by our emotions. And sometimes, and I'm not saying that we should force emotions, because that's not authentic. That is actually the exact opposite. But if you are overwhelmed with emotions, this is not a time to just stop and be like, well, I can't be crying because I don't want people to think that I'm giving into emotions. No, we are emotional creatures. We are human beings, and that will show in the way we worship. Then we should be in community. We should emphasize being part of small groups and being part of having good relationships that are discipleship based, where somebody's discipling us and we are discipling somebody else. And finally, we should be serving. We should be stacking chairs and baking cookies and greeting people, right? But we need to do all of these things. We can't just overly emphasize